Thanks, Tracy, for coming here today. What we're going to do today is we're going to look at how conversations and inspirational game can be played at home as a way to transform the relationships with your family. How's that sound?
Wonderful.
So the game itself is a really simple game. It's a really simple way of playing, and there are 3 cycles. And the object of the game is really about how we connect to each other and start creating a bit of magic in what's going on. The 3 cycles that we have is an aspect of life, like career or health. We're going to then look at a life card, and then finally we're going to look at inspiration to really lift that and go a little bit further than just the life card situation. So what we're going to do, the best way to do this is to have a go at doing it. The key things, we're not going to go through all the rules here today, but what we're going to do is just give you a couple of guidelines. And the number one thing is to recognise, to really listen to what each of us is saying to each other, and we get to speak authentically. So there's no right or wrong answer. We just speak whatever comes up from our heart. The cards themselves are pretty self-explanatory. We could choose an aspect card to see what it is. Just to save a bit of time, can you just grab one? And I'll grab one as well. And what is your card? Yeah, we'll just place that in there together. What card have you got? And I've got money, which is actually the card that I got earlier today. And
The card I got earlier today.
the card you got earlier today. So that's quite remarkable. So do you just want to maybe just pick one dot point? There's a couple of dot points there. Can you just maybe read one and say what it means to you just in a couple of sentences?
It's, in regards to health, it says being overwhelmed and stressed out. Mm-hmm. And from my point of view, I've recently been through a burnout situation with my work and ended up with a chronic pain issue. So, and that was because I was very overwhelmed and stressed out. So,
Thank you.
yeah.
For me, I got money, and for me, money is about my attitude towards money. And it's really interesting with health because for me, it's about being willing now to pay for quality food, for quality health services, you know, to really start looking after myself. And so I think that's a really interesting match. And I don't know if you notice that the interesting thing is not only the cards we get ourselves, but the combination. So that's the first cycle. So the first cycle is just choosing an aspect of life and talking about what that means for you. So the second cycle we're going to move to now is the life card cycle. And so the life card cycle is almost the drama cycle. So I'll get you to just choose a card anywhere in the deck there and just read it and just say what that means for you and maybe what it means in terms of health. Just again, just in 1 or 2 sentences.
I continually hold on to old wounds. And how this relates to health. I'm now very, very much aware that that was one of the reasons that I became unwell, because I was holding on to old experiences, which were, I found out were stored in my body and then causing me chronic pain. So I've learnt through that process. I feel, yes, I probably do have things that I still hang on to, but I've learnt now tools and ways of releasing those emotions that I've been hanging on to. So that's pretty much what that.
Okay. So then what you can do is you can pass it to anyone else in the room playing. So in this case, it's just the 2 of us. So you pass it across. And for me, I continually hold on to old wounds. And for me, on money, I guess my old wound is my old attitudes to money. You know, that there was never enough and we better have some just in case. And for me now, it's relaxing a little bit that and just letting go of those old aspects. So I'll hand that back. Does anything that I've said, can you relate to that yourself?
Absolutely. It's, it does resonate.
Yeah, terrific. And that's the second cycle. So the second cycle is really looking deeper into what's going on. And then the third cycle, we step out of the drama, if you like, and we look at it from a higher perspective. So let's both choose an inspiration card. So I'm just going to choose one. And it'll be interesting how the inspiration cards can serve us. So I'll get you to read yours and just say, just read it, maybe a few sentences and what it means for you, and then I'll do the same.
The game would be over if you remembered everything. What's resonating here with me is that I think it's really important that you do forget things that happen. And I think in relationship to hanging on to old wounds, I think it's actually really pertinent and really relevant, and of course linked to health. I mean, it's classic. Beautiful.
And my card sort of follows that. I've got true change comes from being rather than doing. And for me, it's just recognising it's not about all the stuff I'm doing. You know, I do a lot of things, I can be really busy. But the change in my life comes from who I'm being within rather than what I'm doing on the outside. And particularly health really affects that for me. You know, it's important for me to really look after myself for that. And I guess the money stuff is that attitude, is part of that part of beingness now. So it's about allowing money to come in from that beingness space rather than the doing space. So that's sort of the game. So the idea of this game is enable real communication to occur, which is what really has happened here. We've really listened to each other, but the magic is in the cards that turn up. I mean, even the fact that we've both got the same aspects that we played earlier today have popped up again for us.
Absolutely.
So this game is about magic where really relationships are shifted, but a magic occurs as people play with each other and really start connecting to each other on a deeper level. So for families, for schools, for children, for parents, for couples, for families, for friends, all those people can come together and actually start developing their relationships. And I've had situations where people hardly knew each other, even though they've been married for 20 years, start to develop their relationship other than, worrying about the kids or work or those normal topics, money or those sorts of things, and start developing the relationship with each other. So any thoughts?
I think it's wonderful. The cards really take you deeper into a place that you probably never would have gone without the cards taking you there. Yeah. And then and you're right, I love how everything's so divinely connected to each other and so relevant.
Yep. The game itself, it really is like a workshop in a box. So every time you play it, you literally get to play a workshop. So hopefully that might be some guidance for people who are watching in how to play. And it really is simply about connecting to heart space and listening to each other. In that way, you enable magic to happen.